Hello, and welcome to The Right Side. The Right Side is a news talk show produced by the Taunton Republican City Committee. We strive to present local, state, and national issues that impact our community, and we welcome all points of view to foster greater understanding and awareness. We want to make it clear that the views and opinions expressed on The Right Side do not reflect the view of Taunton Cable Media Access. And now, with great pleasure, we welcome you to The Right Side for a discussion of the issues of the day.
Welcome to The Right Side. My name is David Steinoff and I'll be your host. We want to thank the Taunton Republican City Committee, as always, for putting this show together. The Right Side is a conservative talk show, and our goal is to alleviate some of the myths associated with the word conservative by discussing current topics, local, state, and national, while offering a conservative perspective. And whenever possible, we hope to bring on guests with an opposing view and thereby give you, the viewing audience, the opportunity to decide. But most importantly, we hope to bring you, our viewing audience, more information. Remember to contact us at www.tauntonrcc.com. With that, I would like to make mention of the Boston Marathon. Actually, this past week has been a trauma for the entire nation. It's been both an atrocity and a tragedy. The atrocity, obviously, was the bombing. The horror brought on innocence. The tragedy was that two youths brought in from another country, who came here from another country, welcomed to this country with open arms, chose to repay this country's openness with such an outrageous, heinous act. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no time to celebrate. I understand that we are all relieved. And this host agrees with the idea that it's time to acknowledge the hard work of all the law enforcement agents, the citizens themselves. But it's no time to let down our guard. We're at war, and we want to acknowledge the trauma and the suffering that 200 people are still going to have to go through for a great deal longer. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to also mention that you can donate to the onefundboston.org to help some of these victims. With that, I'd like to welcome our guest, Andrea Tabor, otherwise known as the Whoopie Pie Lady.
Thank
Welcome
you,
to our show, Andrea. Now, you've been in, your business is in Sharon?
East Walpole. I live in Sharon.
Thank you.
Yep.
Would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
Some of the history of the Ever So Humble Pie Shop.
Yes. Ever So Humble Pie Company is a frozen pie company. We're not a bakery. Sometimes that confuses people because I figured out pretty early on that one of the best parts of having a homemade pie is that smell you get in your house when you bake it. So we decided, why don't we let the customers do that? And they can take the pies home frozen. That way they can bake them when they want a fresh baked pie, and they know it's fresh because they baked it themselves. So we sort of coined the phrase, we'll make it, you bake it. And people really caught on to that.
So most of the products aren't completely finished?
We've assembled the pies, and they're frozen. We sell them all ready to go. If you can open a package and turn on an oven, you can have a home-style pie.
I have to have my daughter help me with that one.
The kids love it. The kids love it because it's easy, and they're participating because you have to put a little water and sugar on the top so they feel like they're part of the process. Throw it in the oven, keep your eye on it.
And this started how long ago, Andrea?
Actually, 1999, I have a photograph that's very dear to me that has my now 29-year-old son. Actually, in the photograph, we're at the kitchen table, and you can see the books and the homework papers that we had shoved out of the way, and he's sitting there peeling apples with me. And I did that for a couple of years out of my home, and in 2002, I moved into the building we're now in. So this July will be 11 years that I have made it official by signing a lease.
This sounds reminiscent of Mrs. Fields. Started in her basement with a couple of ovens.
Yep.
Who knows, maybe you'll be nationwide in no time, Andrea.
Well, that's what happens. You know, everybody starts off small because you really don't know, is this thing going to go anywhere? And at the time, I was a registered nurse. I'd been a registered nurse for 25 years, and I knew I was reaching the end of the rope with that. I needed to make a change in my life. And I figured, you know, I've worked with, you know, like when you mentioned the Boston Marathon, I've worked with people in crisis for many, many years. And I was ready to shift gears, so I wanted to do something fun. So pies were it.
Absolutely. Now, as a conservative and a business owner, I feel that the economy is going to come back when small businesses are allowed to take back over. And as far as I'm concerned, we can bring this economy right back on track as soon as the government gets out of our way.
Yep.
Now, have you felt as a small business owner that you've had government help you every step of the way, or have they sometimes been a little trouble?
The government that helps me the most is the government that stays out of the way. I never had to think about what my government was doing. They were just there in the background. I mean, I started in 2002. It wasn't until the past 3-4 years that I noticed encroachment and more regulations and more tax liabilities. And I had to think all the time, can I afford to hire this person? Can I afford to buy that delivery truck? Can I afford to increase my rent space? Because I was constantly thinking, what is that going to do to my budget?
Just to make an example of this, you were a registered nurse,
right.
A single person employed before. You have how many employees now?
8. There's
8.
9 of us, including me.
All right, so that's 8 more people employed besides
right.
yourself by opening up a small business and living the American dream.
That's right, and most of them were either, like my 2 sons, a lot of their friends, some of them, this was their first job. They're still with me. They've bought cars. My son bought a house. Mm-hmm. So they're also infusing money into the economy by having constant, employment. And it's been a great thing.
And, you also support veterans, am I right?
I do.
Okay.
I do. We have family members that are active duty and a lot of friends that have spent time in the military. And we have flags representing every branch of the service hanging from the ceilings. We have 14-foot high ceilings, so we have flags from every branch of the service up there. Wow. And we're connected to the Fisher House in Boston. We raise money for them and we do fundraisers.
And the Fisher House?
Yeah, that's a place where if you have a relative who's been injured in the service, they're in the VA hospital. The Fisher House is on the same grounds, mm-hmm. and your family members can stay there. So they're close by, because a lot of them come from far away, and they're separated from their family. So this is a nonprofit organization that helps these family members stay united with their service member that's being treated. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
It's an excellent organization.
Yep.
Now, actually, we have a segment from Pete on the Street, our very own Pete Mazzone, that goes out and visits mm-hmm. local businesses like your own.
Yep.
And he spent some time out there. Are we ready to bring up Pete yet? All right, give us just a moment. We'll have Pete's segment and show Andrea's place, show you at work.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I've heard so much about these whoopie pies. Now you're Andrea.
I am Andrea.
How are you? I understand you do quite a bit to support veterans and active duty military.
We do.
Could you show me a little bit about what you do here?
Sure. This flag was given to us. It was flown over Camp Phoenix in Kabul, Afghanistan in July of 2011 after we assisted in a cookie drive that sent 750 cookies, and this is a picture of the Mass National Guard 182nd Infantry eating the cookies in Afghanistan. So they sent me this flag in recognition of our service to them, to do something nice for them for Christmas.
Now, Andrea, you're not a bakery here.
We're a frozen pie company.
You make frozen pies, and people can take them home.
We make it, you bake it.
I like that.
Yeah.
And all those wonderful smells of something baking, they go home with them.
They go home with you. That's right. That's one of the best parts of having a home-baked pie. So why should we get all the good stuff? You do get to eat it, but it's even better if you bake it yourself.
Could you possibly show me a little bit about where it all comes together?
Sure. We'll have to go upstairs.
All right, let's go.
So this is where the magic happens.
All right. Okay.
Right now it looks like they're making Very Berry, is it?
Very making.
We have a batch of Very Berry right here. This is strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. It's called Very Berry pie.
Oh, wow.
You put that in the pie shells. They'll put a top crust on it, cut the heart out of the center. We freeze them, we package them, people take them home.
I've never met a cannoli I didn't like.
Yeah. You love our cannoli pie.
Oh, God. Now, is there one particular bestseller?
Our jumbo berry is our signature pie. That's strawberries, blueberries, cranberries, and oranges. People say to me, how many pies do you make in a day? And I say as many as we have to. It might be 1,000. It might be a day where we don't make any pie because we're packaging or we're doing prep work or we're doing shells. I can show you some of the equipment.
How long has you been in business, Andrea?
This July will be 11 years in this
11
building.
years, that's great. Great.
Yeah.
And you built it?
I did. Yes, sir, I
You
did.
built it.
And I defy any of them to come here, look at everything we've built. We paid for everything in here. It's all paid for. We did the build-out expense. We paid for the electricity, the plumbing, everything to make this happen. I defy any of them to come in here, look me in the eye, and tell me to my face that I didn't build this.
They go in here.
They go in here to freeze.
Now, having watched a lot of episodes of The Sopranos, I don't know if I feel good going in here.
No, you can. This one doesn't lock. You can
Okay.
get out. If you get stuck in there, you can get out.
All right.
But this is what.
Oh my God! Look at this. Can I go in here?
Come on around, yeah. Come on around so you can see.
Oh yeah, baby. Look at this is what I'm talking about. Oh, this is great. So Andrea, what are we doing here right now?
This is what we call our crumb spreader.
Okay.
We make chocolate cream.
I've been called a crumb.
We make chocolate cream pie, cannoli pie, key lime pie. You have to get the graham cracker crust into the shell.
Oh, okay.
That's what this machine does.
Oh, now, can I get a discount on a broken one?
No, it's not broken.
Oh.
See, he can fix it. That's the beauty of these machines.
I love it. So Andrea, what are your people doing here?
Well, the pies are in this form. They need to be packaged so they can go downstairs to the retail store,
Okay.
and then people buy them, take them home, and bake them.
Bake 'em.
This is my son Daniel.
Daniel, hi, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm Pete on the street. Good to meet you.
He's going to show you how we package them. Jerry, they work well together as
Okay.
a team. 'Cause it's really a two-man operation.
Great.
They put the pie in the container, put the label on it, shrink wrap it,
Okay.
and then they can stay frozen like that for over a year.
Oh, wonderful.
No freezer burn or anything because of the tightness of the container.
They wouldn't last a year in my house.
That you extend that with got rollers on it, so the pies will then roll down to whatever freezer they're going in, and somebody at the end just takes them and puts them in. But that's when you're really fast.
You're really
Yeah, it's
getting
a
production
4 or
going.
5 person operation.
Yeah, and everybody's doing business.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This has been wonderful. I really enjoyed this so much. I
Thank
can't
you.
tell you how much. Now, Andrea, we came up here today with all intentions of meeting the whoopie pie lady. All right? I mean, I love whoopie pies. I bought one. I'm taking it home. But why did you get the name Whoopie Pie Lady?
Well, because it seemed an excessive use of taxpayer funds to have EBT money spent to buy such products.
A luxury
A
product.
luxury product, and when the Boston Herald got hold of the story, they ended up putting me on the front page with a plate of whoopie pies to accentuate the absurdity of having taxpayer money footing the bill for people's luxury purchases.
Sometimes you got to make a stand.
Yes, indeed. Stand by your principles.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, there we go, Andrea, back on. Actually, that was a fun place to work. That looks like a great spot to work, and I noticed that Pete Mazzone made that whoopie pie look like an Oreo cookie at
He
the
did.
end.
He couldn't wait to get into it.
That thing's the size of a Whopper.
It is big.
And that brings us to the next little segment, Andrea. Tell us about some of the challenges you faced in business, but more importantly, how did you become known as the Whoopie Pie Lady?
That happened last summer in August. I was at the Braintree Farmers Market, and they had a program where they were encouraging people with EBT cards to come to the farmers market, scan their cards. They would give them tokens that they could spend at the market. I thought it was a great idea. There's fresh fruits and vegetables and chicken and eggs and locally produced beef and all of that good stuff that people on a limited income really should be able to access.
Absolutely.
But I didn't want to sell my product because with the EBT card, take those tokens, because my product it's a gourmet
It's more of a
luxury product. If you're going to spend $20 on a pie and you can't put food on the table for your family, it just didn't seem like that was the appropriate use of taxpayer funds.
I mean, that's been one of the big arguments. EBT
Yeah.
shouldn't be used for cigarettes, alcohol, running down to the gambling casino.
Right. Well, they can scan them and get cash off them. So, you know, human nature being what it is, you get cash in your hand, you can do whatever you want with it. And the USDA and Congress has approved changing the restrictions on how you can spend. It used to be food stamps, and it would say exactly what you can buy. Now they've approved candy, treats, cake, you know.
Hey, someone at the grocery store right across from my office was actually in line before us buying 5 or 6 lobsters. Hold out the EBT card. Like you said, nutritional food, the farmer's market, vegetables, that's
Right.
low cost.
Right.
But when they came to buy the whoopie pie,
There's two things. They have tokens either for their debit and credit card or a token for the EBT. I didn't know which token they had. I refused them all because otherwise I'd be discriminating against one or the other. So I said, I'm not in the token program. There were 5 people that attempted to give me tokens. 4, all but one of them, you spent cash when I said no. So they had cash. I don't know if they had EBT money or not.
4 pulled out
4 of
cash
the
and took care
customers
of it.
said, oh, you're not taking the tokens. Okay, they put the tokens away and handed me cash. Because I said, if I accept that EBT token, then I'm approving of this kind of an expenditure. If you hand me cash, I don't know where it came from. If you understand the distinction there. So
Just to make something clear, at that point, Braintree had made no guidelines that you were aware of.
they said it was optional, and vendors could opt out any time. But every week, they were pressuring me to sign the paper, accepting the program. And I said, no, I'm opting out. I'm not going to sign anything, and I'm not going to take EBT. And that's where the conflict was. The customers were wonderful. It was the management of the farmers market that wanted everybody on board.
I mean, you're not the only person, the only vendor that's dealt with this. Last year, we were talking on the radio about someone who refused to sell alcohol to an EBT holder, and he was fired for it. So I take it you've received some flack as well as some encouragement.
I'm no longer welcome at that market.
Braintree said no thanks.
They said to me that they thought it was in their best interest this year to make it mandatory that all vendors participate in the program. They said they would exempt me from EBT, but I would have to take tokens for credit cards or debit cards. And I says, how can I discriminate one against the other? I felt like I was almost being set up. So I said, you know, I'm either all in or all out, so thank you, but I'm all out.
Truthfully speaking, you don't have to take checks. Correct?
I'm the business owner. I get to decide which forms of revenue I'm going to accept.
And at a farmer's market, I take it you're not really set up to take up credit cards, or you could.
I could have a square for my smartphone and scan them right at my booth. I don't need their tokens. You know, I could make my own accommodations.
My point was it would be awfully hard for you to determine, even if that person handing you the token or the card were even the actual recipient of those tokens. Am I correct?
The EBT token has a $1 sign on it. The debit or credit card has a $5 token. Other than that, they're exactly the same size, same color.
But there's no association with IDs. We're not verifying that that person is the original owner.
I wouldn't know that. Maybe when they scan it at the booth, but they don't have a photo on them. How does anybody know that you are the person that it says you are?
Right. See, now my business, we take insurance. It's a healthcare. I'm a dentist. We're a healthcare provider. But we typically verify that insurance card holder is the person they say they are.
Right.
Otherwise, it's fraud. So you have really not the opportunity to go and verify who owns these tokens.
That's